This is Mr. Hanna with your Chapter 7 test review. There will be 20 multiple choice questions on the test. There is a bonus question. If you get that, we'll give you extra credit. The first question is something like this, power to a power. So with power to a power, you multiply the exponents. So if I have x squared to the third power, I go x to the 2 times 3, I get x to the 6th power. The second question, I have a product raised to a power, and I am multiplying that by another product raised to a power. The outside exponents go on everything inside. If they already have an exponent, then we have to multiply because we'll have a power to a power. Now, this is not negative 2 times 2. It's negative 2 squared, and you got to put that minus sign in the parentheses because if you're raising it to an even power, minus times minus is a positive. So I get negative 2 to the second power, x to the second power, y to the second power, and I'm going to multiply that by 3 to the third power, x to the second power raised to the third power, which is x to the 2 times 3, and y to the fourth power raised to the third power, which is y to the 4 times 3. Negative 2 squared is 4. I have x squared, I get y squared. 3 cubed is 27. X to the 6th and y to the 12th. I multiply 4 times 27, I get 108. And I have to add the exponents. So I have x to the 2 plus 6 and y to the 2 plus 12. So I get 108, x to the 8th, y to the 14th. On this next problem, I have a division problem. So I have powers I have to take care of. Remember, you subtract the exponents. Well, 32 over 8 is just 4. X to the 3 minus a minus 1 is x to the 4th. And y to the 2 minus 4, you always put the 1 on top in front and 1 on bottom behind, is minus 2. But since we're not allowed to use negative exponents like this, we've got to get rid of it by making it a positive after we put it on the other side of the fraction bar. So the answer is 4x to the 4th over y squared. Another division problem, but this time we have powers. So we got to take care of the powers on the outside. They go on everything inside. So I have 5 squared, x to the 3 times 2, y to the 4 times 2. On the bottom I have x to the 2 times 3, y to the minus 2 times 3. So I evaluate those, simplify those. I get 25, x to the 6th, y to the 8th, over x to the 6th, y to the minus 6th. Well, anything divided by itself is 1 that cancel out. That would be x to the 6 minus 6, which would be x to the 0, but anything to the 0 power is 1. It's gone. So I still have the 25. I've got y to the 8 minus a minus 6, which means we add. We get 25, y to the 14th power. Now you have to think about number 5 for a little bit. They want to know the number of square units in the area of a circle if it has a radius of 5x cubed units. Well, the area of a circle is pi times the radius squared. Don't worry about pi because it's just going to stay in your answer just like that. So we have pi. Our radius is 5x to the 3rd, and we're going to square that. Well, that 2 means I have...
Lewis, please come to the main office.
Means I have 5 squared and x to the 3 times 2, which is x to the 6. So I end up with 25 pi x to the 6th. Number 6 is a nice, easy problem. They give you a number in standard notation, and we want you to put it in scientific notation. Scientific notation, you're only going to have 1 digit left of the decimal. So you bring the decimal here between the 3 and the 7. So I got 3.71, and I moved it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 places. So 3.71 times 10 to the 10th. Number 7 is a division problem, but it's in scientific notation. Now you could divide 6 by 1.2, you get 5. You could say 10 to the 4 minus a minus 3, because we subtract the exponents of the powers. We get 5 to the 10, 5 times 10 to the 7. However, you could also put it in the calculator Make sure you use parentheses around the stuff on top and the stuff on bottom, and you get your division sign in the middle. Or you can use the fraction button and put these things on top and these things on bottom. But you got to use that up arrow button to get that power. So it's 6 times 10 to the 4th, parentheses, divided by, parentheses, 1.2 times 10 to the minus 3rd. Get this answer. Number 8, you have the degree of a polynomial. To do that, you got to remember you add the exponents of the variables, just the variables, for each term separately, and then you use whichever one is highest. So if I have the expression 2ab, well, I don't see an exponent, so I use a 1 for the a and a 1 for the b. 1 plus 1 is 2. This term has a degree of 2. 4 I can ignore. That's not a variable. A squared is a 2. B to the 4th is a 4. 2 plus 4 is 6. So this term, this term has a degree of 6. Then I've got a to the 8th, b to the 2nd. Well, 8 plus 2 is 10, so this term has a degree of 10. So the whole polynomial has a degree of 10. Number 9, they give you an expression, 6x to the 4th minus 3x squared plus 2x to the 7th plus 1. And they want you to write it in standard notation. So you start with the biggest degree first, and your constant, which is whatever number you have by itself and no variable, that's always last. And we go in decreasing order by the exponents. So 4, 2, 7, that's a 0 because it's a constant. The 7 term goes in front. So I put that 2x to the 7th in front. My next biggest is the x to the 4th, so plus, because it's positive, 6x to the 4th. Then I have minus 3x squared. Notice that minus sign stays with that 3x squared. And I end up with plus 1. Number 10, I have two polynomials, and we are subtracting them. I have 4x squared plus 5x minus 7, and I'm subtracting the polynomial 2x squared minus 2x plus 3. You got to remember this subtraction changes the sign of everything inside there. So I have 4x squared minus 2x squared. That gives me 2x squared. I've got 5x minus a minus 2x. That becomes a plus, so I get 7x. And then I've got minus 7 minus a 3. So minus 7 minus 3 is minus 10. Number 11 is a story problem, and they talk about domestic sales are, and they give you a function, negative 0.02x squared plus 0.15x plus 7.5. They also tell you import sales are 0.03x plus 3.41. And they want you to find an expression for total sales. Well, total means add. So we add them. I don't have an x squared term in this bottom expression, so I just write it down, negative 0.02x squared. I have 0.03x and 0.15x. Add those together, I get 0.18x. I've got 7.5 and 3.41. Add those together, I get 10.91. There you go. Number 12, I got some polynomials that I have to multiply by monomials, and I've got to simplify. So I take this 3x squared, it's a distributive property, I multiply it by 4x, 3 times 4 is 12, x squared times x is x cubed. Then I take the 3x squared and I multiply it by minus 2. Minus 2 times 3 is minus 6, x squared. I take my minus 5x, remember that minus is going through on every one of those. Minus 5x times x squared is minus 5x cubed. Minus 5x times minus 2x, minus times a minus is a plus, 5 times 2 is 10, x times x is x squared. And then minus 5x plus 7 times plus 7 is minus 35x. So I have a couple pairs of like terms. I got 12x cubed minus 5x cubed. 12 minus 5 is 7x cubed. I got minus 6x squared plus 10x squared. 10 minus 6 is 4x squared minus 35x. Now we have some polynomial multiplication. Number 13 is where we would FOIL. We would take our first term and multiply it by our first term. X times x is x squared. We would take our outside terms, x and minus 6, multiply that together to get minus 6x. We would take our inside terms, minus 4 and x, to get minus 4x. And then minus 4, our last term, times minus 6, our other last term. Oopsie. That's supposed to be plus 24. Wasn't paying attention. See? Anyway. All right. Number 14, we have 2x minus 3, binomial. We're multiplying it by the trinomial 3x squared plus x minus 2. This is a trinomial, so we can't use FOIL, but we got 2 terms and we got 3 terms. 2 times 3 should have 6 terms over here. 2x times 3x squared is 6x cubed. 2x times x is plus 2x squared, and 2x times minus 2 is minus 4x. Notice I took this and multiplied it by all 3 of those. Then I take the minus 3 and I multiply it by all 3 of those. Minus 3 times 3x squared is minus 9x squared. Minus 3 times x is minus 3x, and minus 3 times minus 2 is plus 6. I have 2 pairs, 2x squared minus 9x squared, minus 4x minus 3x, 2 pairs of like terms. I don't have anything to combine with the 6x cubed, so there it goes. 2x squared minus 9x squared is minus 7x squared. Minus 4x minus 3x is minus 7x, and then plus 6. Number 15, this is a difference of squares. This is one of our special cases. The difference of squares, a squared, or a, my first term squared, minus b, my second term squared. So I take my first term, 5x, I square it. 5 squared is 25, x squared. I put a minus sign in the middle because difference of squares, you always get this minus sign. And then I take my second term, 6y, and I square that. 6 squared is 36, y squared. 25x squared minus 36y squared is the answer. 16, we've got the square of a sum. We're adding 2 things and we're squaring them. So the formula for that is a squared, my first term squared, plus 2 times my first term times my second term, plus my second term squared. Because this is 2x squared, I have to square that. 2 squared is 4. X squared squared is x to the 4th. 2 times a times b is 2 times the 2x squared times the y. 2 times 2 is 4. I have the x squared. I have the y. Then I have y squared. Number 17, they tell you you have a square of x units on each side. We're going to decrease them by 5. So we got x minus 5. But it's still a square, so we're squaring the whole thing. This is the square of a difference. A squared minus 2ab plus b squared. X squared. 2 times x times minus 5 is minus 10x. Minus 5 squared is 25. 18, you have to solve the equation. Well, first you got to do your distributive property to get rid of the parentheses. 4 times n is 4n, 4 times minus 11 is minus 44. Still got the 9. 3 times 2n is 6n, 3 times minus 3 is minus 9. Got to combine like terms. 9 minus 9 goes away, so I have 6n equals 4n minus 44. Get the variables together by doing the opposite, minus 4n from both sides. I get minus 44 equals 2n. Divide by 2, I get n equals minus 22. $19 is another distributive property. Or we've got to do our solve the equation. Well, there's no distributive property other than this minus sign goes on both of those. So we got to simplify the right side. Well, I've got 8x squared minus 2x squared. That gives me 6x squared. And then I've got the 3x, and then I got the minus 25. Now we got to get rid of the x squared terms because you don't know how to solve quadratic equation yet. I've got 6x squared on both sides. They're going to cancel out. Minus 6x squared, they go away. Leaves me with minus 2x equals 3x minus 25. I got to move the 3x to the other side. By doing the opposite, I get minus 5x equals 25. And I have to divide by minus 5 to get x equals minus 5. And the last problem is ugly. It's a story problem. If you pay attention, it won't be that hard. They tell you if the length of the rectangle is 3 units less than twice its width. So I would write L is twice the width minus 3 units less than twice the width. The width is W. So the area of the rectangle when we start is W times the quantity 2W minus 3, length times width. Then it gets complicated. It says now we decrease the length by 2 units. So our length was 2W minus 3, but we're taking 2 more units away. So minus 3 minus 2 is minus 5. And the width is increased by 2. So we had W, now we have W by 2, plus 2. So the new area will be W plus 2 times 2W minus 5. But they say that if this happens, the area of the whole rectangle is decreased by 9 units. So they want to know which equation is true. Well, what happens is we have our original area, we decrease it by 9 units, and we end up with our new area. So we take our original area, W times 2W minus 3, and we subtract 9. And we set that equal to our new area, W plus 2 times 2W minus 5. I hope you study, and good luck. Good luck.